Welcome to the Cinephiles, everybody, the show where three movie lovers get together and talk all things film, except we're down one right now because Jamie Rogers is working a little Olympics duty. So it's just Brian and I, which is okay. And we're going to start with a film you've probably seen a lot of marketing for. It's been on TV a lot.
Yeah.
The commercials have been rolling. There's money being pumped into it. But Brian's the only one who's gotten a sneak peek so far because it hasn't come out in theaters just yet. This is Send Help.
I am next in line for VP. When Bradley takes over for his father tomorrow.
Your father promised her a promotion.
Did he? As an executive, I see no value in you. Does that make sense?
What?
We have the merger coming up. Prove me wrong. Bring her, and then we'll ship her out.
All right. Brian, tell me what this one's about here.
So this is Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien are, as you kind of saw there, co-workers. He's kind of a boys club CEO, and she's sort of the mousy, strategy and analyst person, the kind of person who eats tuna fish sandwiches at her desk in the office. So, just everyone's kind of worst enemy in that regard.
Everyone's worst enemy in that regard?
I mean,
what
if
you got
you've ever,
against tuna fish, bro?
if you've ever worked in an office, the person who microwaves fish. Or,
I know. I actually did a story on this once.
Did you?
Yeah, about the crossing the smell line at
The
work.
olfactory senses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Broccoli's a bad one too.
Yeah, it is bad. It is a bad one. So she's also a survivor-obsessed person who's reading survivalist books, watches Survivor,
Sweet.
and they both crash land on this island, and he's got to kind of rely on her to live. She knows what to eat, what not to eat, what berries are poisonous, what ones aren't, how to collect water and all that stuff. And he sort of brings in that workplace dynamic, not only the gender dynamic, but the just office hierarchy dynamic into their relationship on the island.
And let me guess.
It spirals.
Doesn't really play very well, does it?
It doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't. No.
play when you switch the roles.
It doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, it's an very intense. This is directed by Sam Raimi, who made the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies and the Evil Dead trilogy, and he's very into really sensationalist camera movements. He loves kind of putting his actors through the ringer. There's lots of vomit and snot and blood thrown in actors' faces. The camera work is really just really out there and in your face. He describes this kind of movie as a spook-a-blast. So it's like a roller coaster where things are popping out at you and you jolt and you laugh, and such a great time, just a wonderful time at the movies. I was laughing, I was squirming in my seat. There's a nice little social commentary here about,
Clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. Women needing to kind of stand up for themselves. I absolutely love this movie. I thought it was a blast. I think people should definitely not miss it.
The previews almost look like there's a horror aspect to it. Is that the real film, or is that just how it's marketed?
I mean, that's a little bit of it. Yeah, they're definitely playing up the blood angle, I think, in the trailers. It
looks like McAdams goes crazy. And then becomes a domineering.
I wouldn't say she goes crazy. She goes a little off her rocker. There's a little misery element there where she's
there we go.
Kind of going into that, but we never lose sympathy for her. We're always rooting for her. She never jumps the shark really. Yeah. So yes, definitely check this one out, especially if you're a fan of Sam Raimi. The cast is great. I mean, Rachel McAdams is wonderful. Dylan O'Brien's wonderful. Lots of twists and turns too that you won't see coming. It was just a great time at the movies.
And you would give it
I would say don't miss it.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. I loved this movie. I thought it was great.
Okay, cool. I guess we won't. This one comes out the 30th?
Is 30th Friday? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 30th.
So it comes out the 30th. Okay. It has been a spectacular previous year for movies. The ones that keep coming out in the theaters, I think, are really good.
January has been really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
And then there's The Rip.
Yeah, there is The Rip.
The Rip.
From the outside looking in, it seems simple. Seize the cash, count it, and turn it in.
Miami PD.
On the inside, it's different.
We had a Crime Stopper tip come in on this address.
Shit. There's $1.4 million in this bucket.
I bought 14 more of those things.
That's a $20 million rip.
You gotta be smart right now. You gotta move this money, man.
Stay off the radios, no call outs.
What would you do with this? Just this. Everything.
All right. Do you want to tell us what this one's about?
Sure. So this is the latest from writer-director Joe Carnahan, who made Narc and The Grey with Liam Neeson. And it's a cop movie about this tactical narcotics team who their main target is going to stash houses and kind of dealing with the cash from drug deals. They go to a house, they find a lot of money, and there's lots of questions about whether or not they're being watched by the cartel and whether or not they can trust each other with the amount of money they find. As you can see, it's got a great cast. You got Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, who produced this movie through Artist Equity. You've got Stephen Yen, Tiana Taylor. Just a great cast. But boy, is this thing not good. It is
a complete mess.
It's a mess. I think it's, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have been on kind of, on the promotional tour talking about it, talking about how Netflix wants them to reiterate the plot every so often to keep people who are on their phones while they're watching Netflix so they know what's going on. And
why would they subject themselves to that?
People with their amount of power in Hollywood, I can't imagine why they didn't push back, because we're constantly seeing like flashbacks of things that happened before that, if you're paying attention to the movie, you know that already. It's just reiterating stuff for people who aren't paying attention, I guess, which is such a bad way to make movies. Don't make movies for, respect your audience. Don't make movies for the lowest common denominator. You assume people are not paying attention, and so you just dumb things down. And
dude, this movie sucked.
It did.
I don't ever say that about movies. I really don't. I'm an optimist, like all the way. And I'll tell you why I think this movie sucked. First of all, the trailer's magnificent. Did you just see that trailer?
Yeah.
It's got Matt Damon. It's got Ben Affleck. We're talking about stolen money. Narcs. We're talking about drug cartels and shady cops. Huge cast. Yes, right?
Yeah,
You're thinking
totally.
The Accountant. Yeah. You're thinking Born Identity. You're thinking all these great films that these guys have done. And they're producers on it. You're thinking Good Will Hunting. You're like, this is going to be epic. It's going to be the next Heat.
Yeah.
It sucked. It sucked. This thing starts out with the two of them talking to their bosses, right? Like, we immediately jump into the disgruntled cop thing. When the only scene that has any heart in the entire movie is when Damon is talking about the tattoos on his hands.
Yeah.
And about this terrible incident and how he had to, with his kid dying of cancer, and how he told him that, we have to do the right thing as cops. And he had it tattooed on his hand.
Yeah, are we the good guys, right?
Are we the good guys? And that is like this great moral dilemma moment with a kid dying of cancer. Like, start there, first of all. Who am I? I've never wrote a screenplay in my life, but I tell you what, this was not the way to do it. Also, you were saying they keep hitting you on the head with these nuggets. Matt Damon tells different people that there's different amounts of money in the stash. Yeah, we heard you. You told 3 different people, 3 different numbers. Like, yeah. I get it. You're setting them up to see who the leak is.
Yeah.
And then at the end, that's the big usual suspects reveal. And it's like, are you serious? It was almost insulting to the viewer that, this is the big turn? And at the end of the whole thing, these two guys are sitting on a beach with a sunset going down.
It's so random. Like,
they're sitting at a beach. The entire film takes place in a stash house. And then at the very end, they're on a beach, like buddies with a sunset.
It's so bizarre. It was such a weird, totally offbeat moment that I just didn't like. It totally unearned. Like, these guys don't have a deep relationship. They're coworkers,
right?
And it's not like they're hanging out and drinking beers and whatever. You don't get any sense of a deeper relationship that, frankly, it's like you and I going out suddenly after this and let's go sit on the beach together. It was just weird.
During sunset.
During a sunset, yeah. Well,
to settle the score, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
I could see one going
lazy.
off by himself and looking at the sunset, but both, it was just, I don't know. It was just weird. It was just a weird choice in a movie with a lot of weird choices.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, the DEA guy, who's just phenomenal actors, are not given phenomenal roles.
Yeah.
They're not given moments to be great actors. Why am I being so harsh? This is why. And it has to do with like Christopher Walken getting the role in Dune as well. It's like you become so big at one point. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are huge names, and they're great actors in their own regard.
Yeah.
But when you give them these sort of ambiguous cop roles where they got to be this really stereotyped cop, it didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work on so many levels. And maybe the reason why I'm so upset is because I trust Damon and Affleck. It's not personal to them. Like, we respect so many movies that they do are really good. And you think, oh, they're doing it independently. Maybe this is the next Good Will Hunting where it's like a feeler. Like it's a really good, deep, gritty, cool, smart movie.
You think with people like that, like Kyle Chandler, the DEA guy, or just the whole
So
cast,
good.
It's a sure thing, right?
Sure thing.
And it's there's nothing worse than going into what you think is a sure thing and being disappointed. Like I didn't think this was the worst movie.
No, it's not the worst movie ever.
But it's so disappointing.
letdown, yes.
Yeah, it's so disappointing that it makes me angrier that it
right.
wasn't better. Yeah.
That's right. I'm sure Matt Damon will reprise himself in the Odyssey.
Absolutely, I'm sure he'll definitely redeem himself, and so will Ben Affleck. I mean, he's a great director, but this was not their highest moment.
That's right. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about one movie. I haven't spoken to Brian about it at all. I watched it yesterday, and I loved it for so many reasons. I saw that look. We'll talk about it on the other end of the break. Welcome back. We are now talking about a film that we're about to disagree about, I think. Mercy.
Mr. Raven, how do you plead?
Not guilty. I'm not guilty. I can't be. I wouldn't hurt her.
Based on available evidence, I have already judged your probability of guilt to be 97.5%. This is 17.5% above the 80% threshold to trigger a mercy trial. This is the Los Angeles Municipal Cloud. Every private citizen and organization is mandated by law to connect their devices to it. I have full access to the servers during trials. It is the foundation of my ability to reach verdicts. You may use any and all resources available to this court to provide me with evidence of your innocence. Should you be found guilty, you will be executed in precisely 90 minutes.
No.
Your trial will now commence.
No.
Oh, yes. So this, if you haven't gathered as much from the trailer here, is a film about criminal justice reformed in the future. For capital crimes, there is a court that is run by an AI judge that gives you 90 minutes to prove innocence. So you are deemed guilty in this court, and you have access to any and all evidence, and you have to prove under a threshold of 92% that you didn't do something. And it's another one of these flicks that mirrors real time, so you have 90 minutes arbitrarily to prove, which happens to be the runtime for a movie, which is 90 minutes. But I thought Chris Pratt was at like an 8, maybe an 8.5 in this, in my opinion. There are moments where I don't really believe him. It's a hard acting gig. Most of the movie takes place just in that chair, talking to a computer screen. But I think the pace of the film moves, given that context. I think the story moves really well. And unlike The Rip, I don't think this insults the viewer at all. I was surprised at many turns, and also surprised at how the story keeps moving in 90 minutes in this chair. I thought they did a wonderful job with that. For the most of the movie, Pratt is excellent, in my opinion. I thought his acting was incredible for most of it. Some scenes I didn't get. This is, in my opinion, this is not a masterful movie. This is not some best film of the year, anything like that. But if you could make a movie that pinpoints exactly the major issue today of around social media, around artificial intelligence, around the masses jumping to conclusions, and around just tribalism, digital tribalism, and mass surveillance, it tackles all of these questions in one sort of crime thriller. So again, it's not like the best movie I've ever seen, but what it made me contemplate about law enforcement, criminal justice, reform, AI, all these things, mass surveillance, what you have access to, you don't have access to. How's the media portrayed? What are our cops portrayed? I thought it was masterful in that regard. And it was so well timed with what's happening in Minneapolis right now.
I will agree with that. I will say, I don't know that it's well timed with what's happening in Minneapolis right now, because as I was watching it, I was like, I don't want to see a movie that is defending the surveillance state, never really has like a critique of the surveillance state. It's just sort of a matter of fact in this world, and that's what you're using. The government has the ability in this movie to go into any door camera, any cell phone, and use that as evidence. And so Chris Pratt has the ability to, pull up documents from businesses or someone's personal computer or whatever.
Very Minority Report-ish in that regard.
Yeah. And I think that they never question that.
I think they do, actually.
I didn't think they did.
At the end of the film, they do. Because she's wrong. The AI is wrong and has to admit that she was wrong.
But that's not
evidence bear on its own. Oh, you're saying it doesn't comment on the access.
It does not comment on that. I think that it's apologizing for AI's mistake and saying we'll do better. I think it's and this, you said it was arbitrary. This 90 minutes is so arbitrary. It takes weeks, months for someone to build a realistic defense, and this guy's got 90 minutes.
Rush to murder.
Like,
it made no sense.
The whole concept for me, it was just like, why is it 90 minutes? It's very uncinematic. He's sitting in a chair the whole time, and why does he need to be in this chair? Because they're going to execute him after 90 minutes.
In the same chair.
Right. Like, why does that need it? I don't know.
That's the point. It's an absurdist take on a far polar vision for somebody that has for criminal justice reform.
Yeah,
where it's like, why do we waste 30 years for someone who's convicted of a capital punishment crime when we know you did it? We know you did it. Your blood's all over it. You're the only person who saw the victim. Like, you should be executed. This is like somebody's dream in that regard.
Yeah. I get that. Unlike you, I did not think Chris Pratt was good in this. I thought he was completely humorless, completely just dry. I thought his character was kind of a mess in terms of, we're supposed to be rooting for this guy who, he's an alcoholic cop whose daughter describes him as dangerous. Mm-hmm. And they show video of him just being a hothead, and it's like, I'm not really rooting for this guy. I think he's kind of.
You don't have to root for him. Why do you have to root for him?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big advocate.
The AI is the protagonist, not Chris Pratt.
Oh, I disagree with that.
You think Pratt's the protagonist?
Yeah, of course. He's the one who's got to prove himself innocent.
Yeah, but he didn't change throughout the film. The AI did.
That doesn't mean that he's not the protagonist.
Well, using the protagonist, someone who evolves or has to come to a choice or a decision at the end.
I mean, he realizes that.
Well, he kind of does.
Yeah,
okay, you don't want to spoil too much of it. There's a few inflection points where he has to make a decision. It comes to a decision.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I don't know. I just, the whole thing was half baked, and there are a lot of germane, relevant issues at stake. I don't think it addresses them with any sort of depth or.
I think it does.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
On the way to the movie, a friend of mine texted me. Or didn't text me. I was talking to a friend, and they said, because I was driving. I was not texting and driving. Where are you going? I said, I'm going to a movie. What are you going to go see? I'm going to see Mercy. Who's in it? I think Chris Pratt. And my friend said, isn't he like far-right conservative? And I go, I don't know. I don't really follow Chris Pratt's politics.
Yeah.
And then I went and watched this movie, going in cold. I had no idea what it was about. How meta is that? That somebody called me and tried to make some kind of political suggestion about the movie or the actor.
Yeah.
And the whole movie is about that. It's about the effects of social media in our bubbles, in creating our own woe is me judgment on everything, and not considering totality of fact, and considering that every human is sinned. Every human is flawed.
Sure, yeah. I think for this particular movie, I don't know that he's a likable character. And again, you don't need to be a likable character. I mean, this is why Taxi Driver is a great movie, or Raging Bull is a good movie.
Right.
I just don't think that there's anything particularly interesting about him.
Sure.
He's a sad sack drunk who is mean to his wife and mean to his daughter, and now I'm supposed to care about him, proving his innocence. I just didn't.
Interesting. But did you care about the storyline? Like, did you think it was a savvy crime? Way savvier than The Rip.
I preferred The Rip. I kind of hated this movie. I kind of hated this movie because the premise was so stupid. I couldn't get over 90 minutes.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's dumb.
The 90 minutes sucks.
So last year there was this movie called War of the Worlds came out, and it was a Screen Life movie, and it was just looking at screens the whole time, and you're dealing with this big scopic problem, and it's all on screens, and it was just terrible. I think this is the equivalent of that, and you brought it up yourself. Minority Report. Minority Report is a movie that deals with a masterpiece. It deals with a similar situation where someone who's an advocate for a new way of catching criminals is, the victim of that system, and they point out the flaws in it. Well,
it's the exact same thing in this case.
Yeah, and there's nothing more uncinematic than a Screen Life movie and a guy sitting in a chair. And I was just so bored by it visually. All these screens coming at you.
I saw it in 3D.
Did you?
Yeah.
On IMAX?
No.
It's insane to me that this movie's in IMAX. Like,
it held me though. It held me.
Did it?
Yeah, it held me all the way.
I don't know. For me, there's so many better sci-fi movies and so many, go back and watch Minority Report. Don't watch this drivel. I thought it was
fair enough.
Really bad.
Perhaps I like it because anything that'll shake a little sensibility into the masses today.
Yeah.
Be like, stop judging people so quickly off of one tweet or one thing. And maybe with my connection to journalism and how you can say one thing on the air and someone will completely think you're this way. And when you say something else, you get emails of people thinking you're this way. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. We just kind of call the facts as we learn them, And
right.
Maybe I'm sick of that person. Maybe it's a me thing, Brian.
No, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, and if our opinions can differ, I just, I couldn't get past a lot of the premise stuff that
fair enough.
I got hung up on that.
Fair enough. So what do you say? Skip it?
I'd say skip it, yeah.
I say see it. I get a vote now that Jamie's not here.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to our. Okay, there it is. What I wonder if Jamie saw it.
I don't know.
We'll have to reach out to
I didn't see it on her letterbox, so.
All right, let's move on to the Cinegift that you gave us last episode.
All right. So this was Bad Day at Black Rock. It was made in 1955 by John Sturges, who made The Great Escape. It stars Spencer Tracy as a man whose left arm has he lost the use of it in World War II. Shows up in this small town, Black Rock, looking to give a medal to the Japanese American father of a soldier that he served with in World War II.
Yep.
It takes place in 1945, so the World War II has just ended. And the town is very suspicious of him, treats him with a lot of disrespect, and he eventually comes to realize that the Japanese-American man that he was going to visit has been murdered by this town. They claimed that he went to a detention center. Now, again, this is made in 1955, and this movie is dealing with a few pretty big
recent
things.
Events.
Yeah, some pretty big things. One, you've got the detention centers, which weren't really talked about in films at this time.
Right.
But these were, if you're not familiar with it, once World War II started, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, America built these detention centers, basically
Japanese internment camps.
Yeah, where thousands of people went and hundreds of people died in these camps. Really disturbing chapter in American history. They mention that in one line, which is very kind of subversive, I think. The fact that the Japanese man never appears kind of speaks to his disappearance in culture and his invisibility in culture, which I think is really an elegant way to deal with a social issue without coming too preachy. It's also just kind of a awesome little Western where the cowboys are jerks, and anyone who's an outsider is met with nothing but xenophobia, and it's for them patriotism is tantamount to xenophobia in a way that I think for 1955 was not really addressed in a mainstream movie like this. So
what did you just say? Patriotism is tantamount to xenophobia?
For Robert Ryan's character, he talks about how
doesn't that ring today?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, this is what's
it's
going
fascinating.
on. It's
fascinating. Is that why you picked it?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it echoes today so well.
I've been writing about a lot of older films that kind of echo with what's going on today. There's another movie called Brute Force that I just wrote an essay about that is about the prison system that is basically just, go read that essay. But Bad Day at Black Rock is, yes, definitely a movie that I thought was relevant for today. But it's also not super preachy. It's 80 minutes long. Yeah. It's like, if you love Westerns, it's basically like a little Western set in 1945.
Yep.
And it's got
good
an
acting.
Awesome cast.
Really good acting.
Robert Ryan, Ernest Borgnine. I'm talking. What did you think?
No, I think it's great. I love hearing what you have to say about it, because if there's one thing we know, it's that Brian never fails to give a good Cinegift. So I literally, like, every time he gives a Cinegift, like our book club, right? I'm always excited to watch it because I know it's going to be a movie of quality that I've never seen before, which is really fun. I thought it was a really good movie. I thought the beginning was a little suspect at how overtly mean the entire town, which is like 8 people, is to this foreigner, this stranger who comes into their town, not a literal foreigner. So that kind of struck me. But as the story started to develop, right, it became much more heartfelt, much more, I don't know how to describe it accurately, but the story was much more meaningful. It wasn't just a visitors in town. Once the political ingredients behind it all in the World War II link unearthed, then I thought the movie became very powerful in that regard. It's also something to say about how strong men are portrayed in that era versus now. Like an older guy with one arm. He's a super strong man. Like the more high moral ground, not afraid of anyone.
Yeah, the
man.
The few bits of violence in this movie are so curt and kind of awesome. Like it's like a single chop to the neck and he's taking someone down, or a judo move to flip someone over
with one arm.
With one arm.
Awesome.
Spencer Tracy is such a internalized actor. Like he's not overdoing it, and he's just got a presence that I think is so strong.
Oh, there was also, I thought maybe for a second you were trying to tip your hat to One Battle After Another, because there's the car chase scene where he's trying to kill him in the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, this has got a little element of One Battle After Another.
Sure. I also love Walter Brennan, who's played the doc. The kind of drunken doctor. He's a great actor. He's won multiple Oscars actually back in the day.
Yep.
Just if you love Westerns, and it's kind of a post-Western is what it's called.
I wouldn't call it a Western. I would call it it's a small town post-Western. Yeah, small town post-World War II.
But it's sort of critiquing the Western because
a little bit.
In a way, I mean, all these guys they describe themselves as cowboys. The hotel is reserved for cowboys. That cowboy mentality is hey, a stranger comes into town and we don't, and that's kind of what America is kind of built on this myth of the West, and we conquered the West, and it turns out the West, wasn't very welcoming to strangers.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. Thank you again, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Loved it. We're gonna do the next Cinegift right now. We're gonna do Magnolia, and Dan, our producer, just brought this up because I've never seen it.
It's a great movie.
Is this a PTA? Is that what this is?
Yeah. This came out in 1999. This is again, we've talked about 1999 being a very formative year for me personally. It was kind of the year I got my driver's license, started seeing a lot of movies.
The Matrix came out?
Yep, it's hailed as one of the greatest years for movies ever, and this was a definite highlight of that movie.
It's one that just was because I'm in high school in this time. It's over my head. I never saw it.
Yeah.
And so people are like, "You never seen it?" You said, "You never seen Magnolia?"
Yeah.
No, I haven't. Okay, get off my back about it, everybody. We're gonna watch it. We'll talk about it next time. Where can I find you, bud?
All right, I'm on Deep Focus Review. If you like what I do, head over to Patreon/Deep Focus Review to support my work. Otherwise, I'm on Letterboxd and Blue Sky.
All right, thank you, Brian. Jamie, we hope you're doing well, serving the Olympics up. They're going to start here shortly. And I'm Chris Sarabsky, journalist. You can find me K11K11.com. I'm just here to help Brian ease on into this thing and to disagree with him from time to time.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.